Hey Nabia, I'm Harik. Uh, well, just to let you know, guys, the audio might be delayed between our two screens, so we're gonna try our best to have patience between our communication. I accepted your request. I'm still waiting. Hey,
You can see me?
yeah, I can see you.
Okay. Let me go further. There we go. Now yeah, I cannot read from here, but you would do the reading. How are you?
I'm doing great. You know, a little break from earlier.
Yeah. Got in the house. I made myself some tea. Tomorrow I'm going natural.
Oh yeah,
Natural meaning, you know what I mean, natural, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Is it for the full moon?
Is it full moon tomorrow? I don't care. I don't follow with those things, but I know on the 13th, I think it's going to be, right?
Huh?
On the 13th, right? The full
Yeah.
moon on the 13th.
It's tomorrow, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. You see, I knew that it's going to be a full moon on the 13th because people are talking about, oh, Friday the 13th, and blah, 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 you know? But
Mm.
I decided to go natural because Annabelle in the group was, she's natural now on her fourth day or something like that, I think.
Yeah.
So I said to myself, okay, I can start on Friday, but I didn't think about the full moon. But I'm a reflex.
Mm.
I make decisions on the moon, on the moon cycles.
Hmm. Yeah, it's
Mhm.
happening. I don't
Yeah.
know what's going to happen, to be honest. Some people say major events are occurring in the world because of it. Like, I don't know if you heard about. You
All
just
the
don't.
good things can happen.
You don't mind the external world. You're focused on the internal.
And then the external will interfere somehow,
Hmm.
but you know, like it's so many things people say, like, oh my God, the moon or this or that, and something major is gonna happen, and this is gonna happen. But like I said before, I think we create that type of energy. Not that it's going to happen only, but just because everybody believes something magical is going to happen, everybody will be meditating, maybe, and
Hmm.
then we will create that magic.
Yeah.
But I don't
Well, that,
magic.
that's what we should all be doing, you know. Um, be centered onto the internal part of ourselves to maintain that peace
Yeah,
externally.
but we shouldn't wait for the moon. We should
No.
we should be that solitude most of the times.
No.
Yeah. No, we will see. Every time they say something magical is going to happen. I used to believe in the 2012, the world's going to
Yeah.
end. I don't know if you have to remember Delama and stuff, but I remember I went to the movie theater. I watched 2012.
Yeah, me
I
too.
came home. You did? Yeah,
Hmm.
I must have been. Yeah, I was younger than your age at the time, I think. Yeah. I was in my early 20s, but I remember I went there and I'm like, oh my God, the world is going to end. And after that, I used to have dreams where the world is ending all the time, all the time.
No,
Sometimes,
it really affected you.
mm-hmm,
You
it did.
overcame that vision.
For years and years, yeah. Sometimes I run and the whole ground is just going away. And I'm like,
It's,
dang it, there's no ground, you know?
mhm,
And sometimes, like, the whole thing is just burning and I'm running, you know?
mhm.
And the whole planet is just burning. But I think it's just, you know, whatever I read.
Yeah, I mean, our perspective is going to change depending on what's really happening.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the mind likes to make up stuff.
Mm.
And we make up all of these stuff like, oh, if the moon and the sun and this aligns, something is going to happen.
That's
Like,
why,
because of they haven't happened.
that's why it's
Yeah.
best to quiet the mind when it comes to understand what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's really not the mind who's going to find out. It's already happening, so there's nothing to find out. It's just to observe.
Yeah, you see, that's the truth. There's nothing
Mhm.
to find out. But the mind wants to find out stuff and put something together, and then it complicates things, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, that is so true. Yeah, it's. I was thinking, like I said earlier when I was meditating, every time I had a thought, my focus will be, I couldn't hear the birds, I could hear the leaves. My focus
Mhm.
will be less. So I needed my mind to be quiet in order for me to be alert.
Are you able to do that now? Quiet your mind for a certain period of time?
Yeah, every time I meditate, I can quiet my mind.
Yeah.
I can quiet my mind. It's just if I want to. Sometimes I just go and meditate just because of, I just want to relax, you know?
Mm.
And then when I just want to relax, yeah, I let all the thoughts just pass. It's fine, they can just be there. And I'm just resting in that resting mode. But if I really want to be alert, I
Mhm.
don't do that. If I really want to be alert, my mind has to be still. It has to be still.
Mhm.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, I
yeah,
relate to
what about,
you.
hmm?
I relate to you.
Okay. Yeah. So I can charge, that's fine. But if I want to travel, it has to be quiet. Yeah.
Mhm.
Is the sound in the background okay, or should I move the location?
Ah, it's okay.
Yeah. Otherwise, I can go inside or outside or something. Okay.
No, I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm more alert when I close my eyes and quiet my mind. Then I can hear better. I can see better. Everything just gets like louder in a sense.
Mm.
And I open my eyes, everything gets quiet.
Mhm.
Isn't that weird? Like when you open your eyes, everything gets quiet because, your eye will tell you this is a tree. The eye will tell you this is a plant. You don't have time to think about it and do some create your own
Exactly.
picture.
It's like the perception is going to shut down all of the illusions that the mind can make up.
Hmm. Exactly, exactly. So everything we identify when you close your eyes and you are in inside world, you don't identify things.
Mm.
Identifying things would just limit us. So when I wake up from a meditation and I start identifying stuff, now I'm limited. I can't travel as fast. I can't think as fast. It's like, okay, it's a tree. It stops me. It's a window. It stops me. So I have to give attention to certain, items, and then I'm not as fast as when I close my eyes. I'm in a different realm.
So I wonder, do you practice your attention often?
To my intention, like my
Yeah,
attention. You mean
yeah,
like focus?
your attention. Like, do you practice centering your attention on something specific, or do you often just let it flow to what it can perceive and not even trying to judge what you perceive, just keep on paying attention?
I like to think that I do that daily in my normal life.
Mm.
Like I go through life by just observing, and once I react on something, I feel like, okay, I need to give that some more attention. Like, why did I react? Why did I feel about this certain way? Like, why did I feel this way? That's the only time I stop it. But other than that, I feel like I'm moving through only, like observing everything, just seeing as it is, and everything
Mhm.
just appears as it is because I'm not in control of everything or anything. So yes, like I am by myself most of the times. Like I would say like maybe 90%. That's a spider on me.
Mhm.
Maybe 90, 85% of the time I am by myself.
So I wonder, do you observe your thoughts, your thought flow also?
Hmm.
So are you
Definitely.
able to perceive, because me, when I actually practice observing that thought flow,
Hmm.
at first that's when I first noticed it that not every thought that was going through my mind was coming from me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I could sense, with having that sensitivity over my own thoughts, I was able to sense when it was like a telepathic message coming from maybe angels or a living being, like plants, like you used to say, earlier that you can communicate with plants, even animals, your cat. Well, my cat, I'm able to perceive his intentions
Hmm.
um, through thoughts.
Yeah. When that happened, I actually think it's like that's our natural way, you know?
Hmm.
It is our natural way. I feel like when you're saying like, okay, what thought is mine and which one is not mine, right? People will think like the one that you think is yours, that's coming from the mind, you think that is yours. But it's actually the telepathic one, the information above
Hmm.
that's true. You know, sometimes when I say something and I'm like, where did I get that message from? It's not from this body, it's not from this memory, it's from beyond this body, you
Hmm.
know. I haven't witnessed it, you know, so it's not a wisdom that I have gained through this body, so it's a
Hmm.
message coming from somewhere else. So those are the messages that I feel like, okay, this is the real message, this is really me, the true source coming in. But then you get distracted by your mind and the things that you know and things that your eyes are familiar with, and your mind will make you think like, okay, this is the real one, and this one is just like something superpower. But it's not superpower, that is your true self.
Hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you mean for sure. It's like
So
the big difference between um actually yesterday I was reflecting on that, the difference between uh, uh an assumption, when you presume certain things, and the actual truth behind an event, and that's going to depend on just a second, I'm trying to fix something on my phone. Okay, so there's going to be a big difference, which are going to lead people to create belief. You know that this whole belief system that we used to talk about sometimes is mostly based on presumptions. That's what the belief is like. It's something that you presume, so it's not the truth. You didn't actually, well, a person didn't actually find out the real reason, the real cause behind that consequence, that event. So all he can do is make presumption, which is going to create a whole belief system, especially if he doesn't actually seek the real truth. You
you see,
know?
like, you know, like hell, heaven, everybody have a perception of how it looks like. You know, they created a whole thing about it, but nobody knows the truth.
Yeah, actually, I do.
Huh?
Actually,
You know,
I went and I saw the truth.
I want to hear that.
Well, most people don't, especially those who don't practice their capacities and abilities to travel through dimensions, because hell and heaven, there's a real location. There's a in beyond the physical, and
Okay,
I went.
I want to hear the hell and heaven. You know.
Well, it's not it's not affecting you the way it has to. It's going to be based on you and your perception of it. That's for sure. But as we said in a previous live, how consciousness comes before energy, and energy emanates
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
from a conscious awareness or state of mind, state of consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
So there's actual, like the physical realm emanates from a conscious state of mind that's
Mm-hmm.
going to create all these densities inside energy, vibrations.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a conscious state of mind that created what some call paradise and that created what some call hell. But
Mm-hmm.
for the one who is aware that um, consciousness doesn't have to respond to energy or to be affected by it, will not be affected the same when, like, you can go to hell. Like, I went to hell, but I wasn't affected by the environment of hell. I was just
Okay.
a, a free flowing consciousness exploring, know, and I've discovered the truth, and many things happened when I went there. But it's just to let you know, like, yeah, there's a real energetic realm associated to these, but not everybody, especially the one who hasn't perceived, who hasn't experienced it, will only again make presumptions of how it looks, how it feels. They might be following somebody else's presumption, like within religions. They talk about heaven and hell and how it is, but it doesn't have it's not the how they think it is.
Of
It's
course
really
not.
different. Consciousness overcomes any belief.
Mm. I love how you say that when you enter hell, because of we are creators, right? So we create. Um, I really, really believe that if the majority of this planet believe in hell and heaven, and they placed it somewhere else outside of here, they have created it because we create things with ourselves, right? So if majority believes in hell and heaven, they have created that hell and heaven in
Yeah.
another place,
I
right?
mean, they can create a realm which
Mm-hmm.
is going to appear similar as hell, but it's not the real hell. Like, the real hell already got created a long, long time ago, like maybe beginning of creation. That was like from God, literally, and heaven. But as beings who are consciousness and conscious too, we can create certain realms. And whenever we go to these whenever we travel, when we go to sleep, we transition it from a dimension to another.
Mm-hmm.
A being can experience the realm he has created for himself by imagining it.
Mm-hmm. I believe that.
You know?
It's like it's like just like how you create your own moments in your own
Mm.
life. You're in charge of it because of what you do, how you think, whatever you do. That's what appears in your reality. So I really believe that hell and heaven can be created by us in a sense because of the strong belief. And everybody thinks like, okay, there's only these two options, the hell and heaven. And they think like, okay, I'm gonna go to hell because of I have sinned, I have done this, I have done this, I have done this. And now they're creating that reality for themselves, right? So then you haven't woken up from this body at all. You're just this body, you're dead. So when you die, you also die with that concept of believing that you are the body, believing that it's only two options, believing that you sinned, and then you go into hell. And then when you see something, when something appears to you like hell, and you have all these perceptions, it will become that. So I understand what you mean. Like if you walk in and you don't have those perceptions, it's not going to be hell for you. But if you have those perceptions, it will become hell.
Hmm.
Interesting.
And it's different. Yeah. Like, for example, there were actual flames, but these flames, for example, for the one who hasn't mastered his own consciousness, is going to think that these flames are going to affect that person. Actually, in hell, the flames are not to burn some things, but actually to purify. It is to, um, wash off anything that's. The hell is actually not what some think it is. Like, the flames of hell are actually purifying the being, but only the being who has already mastered, purified his own mind first. So he's going to
Interesting.
see every energy as a purifying process. And these flames are here to purify the body and not to
It makes
burn and to hurt.
Yeah, because the pain is the perception in the mind anyway, in the sense, if you think
Exactly.
about it.
So
Yeah,
yeah,
we just think like, oh, fire means ow, because of this physical body, is this programmed to be affected by it. But I can see how maybe, a hell could be like a cleansing area where you purify, cleanse. And maybe that's why they say, like, oh, if you sinned, if you did this, you have to go to hell. Maybe it's just like, shower. You go through, you
yeah, you're
shower
going
from
to,
earth.
yeah, it is
Shower from,
exactly that.
hmm, interesting.
And
I want to
in
go
heaven,
astral travel now.
I mean,
Go.
you know what I can do? It's been about maybe a couple weeks since I haven't purposely traveled.
Mm-hmm.
I do it unintentionally sometimes because for so many times I've practiced it, I raised my consciousness onto the subconscious to the point where when I go to sleep normally every night, I'm actually astral projecting. Like last night, I had an experience with some beings, or 2 days ago, I had an experience with Jerome in the astrals.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it was unintentionally. It's just because when you practice, the more you practice, you raise your consciousness,
Mm-hmm.
and the subconscious becomes conscious. So like you don't go to sleep and you lose consciousness of your own self. It's like you project automatically because you're that conscious.
Hmm. Interesting.
And so what I'm able to do is actually when I do it purposely, I could come. Um, depends on what you're doing physically, but if you're already sleeping, I
Mm-hmm.
could come into your dream and bring and make it a natural projection. Raise the consciousness of your dream to for you to actually project
Mm-hmm.
and travel with me.
Ooh, that's nice. You can come to my dream.
Yeah,
You're welcome. I invite you. You can come to my dream, and then we can go to the hell.
yeah.
We can
Well,
explore
I wonder how I wonder how your mind is going to take it.
when it gets to hell.
Yeah.
Trust me, I'll flow with it. It's fine. Mom, bring my
If you
mind
if
with
you're
me.
a true warrior, if you're a real warrior, you're going to it's going to be nothing.
Yeah, I think I'm a curious soul. I really like to. I'm kind of like tired of this plane. It's done nothing to be curious about here. Like everybody have played with everything. It's just like, what more is it to do here? Like I can't even fly like the bird. What is it? I can't even do anything with this body like that.
Mhm.
But if
Yeah,
there's this body,
exactly. Like
go
mhm.
ahead.
This dimension is so limited, but once yeah, like you have to. It's limited only if your sensors are closed. Because
Hmm.
sometimes I don't even have to travel. I'm able to perceive the astrals and do certain stuff. Like for example, with this book or anything that is there, like there's a natural reality to it, and you can interact with that reality and do so many things. You can develop your own intelligence. Your memory is super important also.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like I would like to share with you some experiences actually on
Okay.
what I was able to do. Um, that experience reflects how it is truly our I'd say our responsibility to master high frequencies
Hmm.
because um, you know our chakra centers like the root chakra. It
Mm-hmm.
is said that this is where the consciousness reside,
Mm-hmm.
and the third chakra is not where the consciousness reside, but it is the siege, like it is the sit, the chair, like of the consciousness.
Hmm.
So the root chakra represents how the fact that our consciousness began from that state of mind, where
Mm-hmm.
it was on alert, uncertain, to the new, um, instinctive, And by ascending, it got to the point where it was universal love in the crown chakra
Mhm.
for the understanding it made with the third eye. You know, it's a progression.
Mhm.
So the
Mhm.
third eye is like not a tool, but an instrument, a power for the consciousness which is in the root to
Mhm.
perceive whatever is external, and then it's going to transmit into the root to the consciousness of the root chakra. So that's why the Kundalini has to come back down to
Mhm.
bring back everything that it has perceived with the third eye and the crown to then inform the pure consciousness that that's how you raise your whole self, you know?
Yeah. That's what I call acceptance. First when
Hmm.
you go through here, it's a lot of things that are going on, and then when you go to the third eye and you get that understanding and that awareness, then you go back to accept. You know, that's why I always say, like, everybody first in the beginning when people are like healing this root chakra, they always go back into their, how the story started. Me, the story of me, how it started.
Hmm.
Like, oh my God, when I was a kid, this happened to me. Maybe this was this. We go into that story of always feeling like we're the victim. This is what happened to us. Blah blah blah. That's that root, like that when you victimize yourself, like everything. And then the more you grow with it, you come to that understanding. Oh my God, this is beautiful. There's nothing, there's nothing
Hmm.
out there that's making me feel this way and this. So you go back to it. So everything that you felt like victimized by, everything that you felt like disaligned, and you align it again, and you feel like, okay, I accept everything. So
Hmm.
I believe that. I believe that. Yeah.
Yeah. So um, the light dimensions reflect the progression that we have all made because like I said, these dimensions are emanations from conscious state of mind. So whatever you're experiencing here or there in the lighter dimensions, it was generated out of an achievement from the consciousness
Mm-hmm.
to create these vibrations, these high vibrations. But it's a progression. We're not done creating more of these high vibrations and more of these lighter dimensions. And that's the infinite loop. So my experience, you know, the first, there's an order. When God created beings, He created angels at first. So angels were the first to experience their lower selves as the root and
Mm-hmm.
and also to pave the way. They weren't I mean, God was the first. There's a divine mother and a divine father. They were the first, and the child, which represents all beings,
Mm-hmm.
followed after. But it was the archangels that you know about the archangels.
Yeah, I've heard of it. I just, yeah,
Yeah.
didn't
So
know
they were the
anything.
first to experience this process, and everybody who goes through it is actually paving a way for the next one that's going to go through it.
Mm.
So um, they they are able to they are also trying to do the same as us, but from a long time ago, and they have been doing it, and they're still doing it,
Mm.
reaching higher dimensions, handling these high vibration for their consciousness
Mm-hmm.
to create a new will of ascending even more once you handle this vibration. And when I projected, I
Mm-hmm.
was able I was able to reach a dimension where vibrations were so high, so intense. It was
Mm-hmm.
pleasurable, but it was so intense that maintaining your consciousness there without falling,
Mm-hmm.
like, not asleep, but just unconscious, for the high it gave. Um, that's the process. You have to master the highness. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and when I was there, like everything was shaking. Well, shaking. I mean, not like just vibrating, and your consciousness trying to maintain itself there. You can't even move your eyeball like for so intensity. Yeah, like when I reached there,
Uh-huh.
um, there weren't too many beings there because it's truly difficult to. I, I, it didn't happen within like I'm using words to say when I reached there, but it took so long. Like it took I've traveled two dimensions to reach there, and I knew the process. When you don't know the process, you can be stuck in a dimension. Like all the beings that are stuck here, for example, they don't know they have to ascend and master these vibrations, so they're going to be stuck here. But me, as I were conscious of the process of mastering these vibrations and ascending higher, I was able to ascend faster.
Mm-hmm.
So I was I was elevating and I got into this dimension which was so high. So it was maybe only I'd say not more than 10 beings around me when I reached there. Hmm.
But why
About
do I feel like I recognize it? When you say it, it's so, I'm getting some memory
you
of something.
might
But okay, huh?
you might because I was aware of certain beings,
Mm-hmm.
but the other ones, like I said, I wasn't able to move my head or even my eyeball,
Mm-hmm.
so I wasn't able to get to know everyone there. And it's
Mm-hmm.
specific people. Like there's a reason why both of us are talking now. It's because of certain things, like.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a long story.
Yeah, I
Um.
know what you mean. I know what you mean.
Mhm.
And we have a question. I thought, Michael, I have sent you a request. I would love to spark to you after,
Oh,
please.
okay. I didn't see that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
someone said that.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So you couldn't even move your whole body. You were like just paralyzed. There was one time I've had this weird the most scariest way of getting out of my body. And
Hmm.
this time I was sitting. I wasn't thinking of maybe going somewhere or projecting anything. Nothing. Nothing. I was just sitting there. And sometimes, when you sit and then you think of different things, and you just go out. You just go out.
Yeah.
So I was sitting and then I went out. I'm like, no, 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 I don't want to go out. This reality was fading away. And I wasn't dizzy. When people are dizzy and fainting and stuff, I don't faint. I never faint. So I was like feeling like this whole reality is just like going away, like it was like something that was just going away. And I was just drifting on. I'm like, no, 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 I have to get up. And I
Hmm.
got up while everything was disappearing. And then I had to run. I mean, literally, I had to run. And
So,
I'm like, oh my God, the place.
uh
And I
was it
laid
with your
down and then,
was it
huh?
with your astral body or your physical body?
My phys- I was getting out of my physical body while I
Ah,
was
okay, okay, okay.
so
Okay.
I was subconscious. I'm like, I don't want to do it now. I don't want to do it now. And it's still doing it. And I'm sitting. So I got up and I'm like, oh my God. And then I lay down. I just collapsed. But I didn't faint or anything. I lay down and then everything just came down. But I could still see like something was disappearing. It was like this reality was going away. I don't know how to tell you, but it was like a painting, right?
Hmm.
A painting that's disappearing. It's like blending. Everything is just like blending in. I don't know
Yeah,
how to
it's like your
explain.
third eye is literally shifting from vibrations realm to another, so it's like the one is like fading out. I can
Yeah, it was the weird.
relate.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, but that one was like I wasn't ready, and I just want to get up, and I'm already like woo, going out of my body. So that was, but those were the times where I used to, travel a lot.
Hmm.
I used to like travel more than be in this realm.
Hmm.
This realm, everything was like so dense, and it's just like okay, I know everything's happening, to find out to do something fun I have to travel and it takes long. So I used to just come here, close my eyes, I was somewhere else. So
I'm telling you,
yeah.
when you explore, like, how far did you go when you travel? Like, were you able to process and like, be so present into that experience that you're able to recognize certain stuff and
Yes, my problem was like more of like I didn't talk to people or anything like that to get any validations. But I
hmm
started sharing more on social media. Uh, when did I start? Like 2019 or 2020, I think. That's when I started sharing more.
hmm
But before that, the years before that, I was just going to different places, coming back. It's just me, you know. And I had my books as a confirmations, you know. Like I would pick a book, and then I would look at the book, and I'm like, oh my god, this is confirming what I really thought and what I've just seen, you know. There's some music behind it, so I'm gonna get.
it's okay.
Yeah, I will just get out. Yeah. There we go. Perfect. I hear that song
Yeah,
every
man.
day.
I feel like that is truly something that you should get onto, because if you've mastered that process, there's not too many beings. Yes, everybody can do it, but there's not too many beings who got to the point of mastering that ability to be able to actually project. Some people might neglect it because they don't understand the conscious process of it. But if you knew how it actually reflects how you tapped into um, a version of your true self,
Mm-hmm.
which is your a lighter consciousness of you without the body.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it
And I
is.
feel like we
It's
should
like,
explore more. You know.
and it's your inner world, you know. It is your inner world. Like I was saying earlier, when I close my eyes, I feel so safe because I'm in a world where I feel like, it's more safer. You know, when I come out here, I'm like, oh my God, everything is different. But I used to, for example, to get confirmations, what I used to do is like I will go and visit specific buildings,
Mhm.
and then I will go and visit those buildings and look at the windows, look at the places, with myself like, oh my god, this is the door, this is the window, this is the place,
Mhm.
and for some reason, like I was saying with Louisa, when I go and travel to Louisa, I'm always outside this building, so I'm trying to find out like, okay, what door and what building, right? So it's kind of like training my focus to be in those different realms and be present in the different realms, because sometimes, in the beginning I used to just tap into a realm and I'm just there. I'm like, oh my God, I come back like a dream. And then I go again and oh my God, I'm back again. I'm like, I question myself. What would that happen? Was that
Yeah.
my thought? Did I just go far with my thought? I didn't know. I couldn't differentiate
So it was
between.
a so it was the lack of understanding that kind of like restrained you from going through that process.
The what process, like to stay in
Because
it.
if you were always coming back to that specific place, maybe it was an assignment either from your subconscious self or from your guides.
Yeah, it wasn't
Because
the same place every time. I wasn't going to the same place. I was flying too fast over a hill or something like that, and then I would see
Mhm.
everything from above, like a bird, and I would see like very fast, like I've had like a ride, and then I come back, but then my mind wouldn't register what happened. I would just think like maybe I was thinking too deep, and my mind was just like, took me there. But then eventually, when I sit more with myself, I'm like, let me explore. Let me stay there a little bit longer. And then if it's a room, if I'm inside a room, I have to like really focus to stay in that. Because if my mind shifts, for example, oh, now I'm in a room or something like that, if I come back to this body and start thinking, I fall off again. I can't focus. So I have to focus and focus and focus in order for me to remember where I'm at. So that needs a lot of practice.
yeah, it takes a lot of practice, a lot of mastery
Yeah.
um,
Here
over your own
and the
self.
outside.
Mhm. You know,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
your emotions can play a big role into like the blockage that it might create
Mm-hmm.
uh,
Absolutely.
to explore and discover and develop.
And your belief system, because if you're already locked in the belief system, I think what helped me more is I wasn't locked in a belief system.
Hmm.
Like I said, I like experiences, so it's more like, what do I have to lose? If I just go and explore more of what this is, what do I have to lose? Imagine just being on this planet and never experience that, and then I die. You know, like what's
Mm,
the point? What's the point?
you
I
will
want to
like,
go to places
yeah,
now when I'm here.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's some people going through it like they don't experience what they should be experiencing. You know,
Mhm. Mhm.
they go through. They just live their physical life with like I mean when you're like we said earlier when the sensories are blocked you're
Mhm.
just limited to the physical realm and not only that not even the truth of the physical realm it's a whole belief system like
Mhm.
like me growing up like I mean yes I accept I might grow up with a family a wife some kids but like never with the same perspective of when I was born like thinking that like okay it leads to that like governments I mean credit or rent or something like that
Mhm.
it truly
Mhm.
doesn't now it's like it doesn't matter anymore
Mhm. I
literally
see
it
what you
doesn't
mean. It,
mm-hmm.
it, it, it doesn't even make sense. Not that it doesn't matter. It doesn't make sense.
Mm-hmm.
To me, it doesn't make sense.
It,
Because I feel,
it,
sometimes I think about, imagine we have been given so many tasks on this planet
mm-hmm.
that it's limited to fixing like your house, your job, eating, look, the normal things that we do, you're occupied with that for 24 hours and the rest you're sleeping, like 8 hours of this, 8 hours of that, and then you sleep. So your whole life you will just be occupied with just that. You have a chore to do all your life, and then you can never figure out who you are. You can never figure out the truth about humanity. You can, like humans itself, like ourselves inside, you can't even figure anything out. And then you just boom, gone. It's
this what's gonna
not
happen
worth it.
what's gonna happen after a reincarnation living that same process that
Again,
and again
again. I wonder how many times I came back.
what who
I
knows
wonder how many times.
but sometimes some beings they come back like not to not necessarily to because it's a burden they come back because it's amazing like this physical realm once you perceive it from a, a multi-dimensional realm it's truly amazing like me I'm living my best life I'm
Yeah,
saying
I know what you mean. Yeah. Once
I'm
you
able
understand
to
it,
exactly like I'm able to actually put like you know what's the lifestyle I'm going to apply. I've been
no.
planning for mastering this ability to astral travel and to explore the astral realm. Actually, like right now, I'm in a motel in my city
Mm-hmm.
because I want to astral project here because
Earlier, the reason why
we're in,
I asked you, the reason why I asked you to go live today is because I saw you.
well, you know what? Wait, what did you say?
I saw you actually go into the hotel, and when you said it, I just didn't want to say it. I was like, okay, but it was very short because I just went in for like 30 minutes. It was very short, and then I just saw you,
Mm.
and I thought you were traveling or something like that. And I was like, okay, let me ask Michael. And then you said, I'm in this hotel. I didn't want to say to you. I was like, okay, now because I just got out of that projection. I just got out of
And
it.
what was the experience like? I was really
Like I said,
traveling.
I always. Hmm?
Huh?
Say it again. You coming in and out.
Was I traveling?
Yeah, in my mind, I saw kind of like a motel and traveling. We were coming out of a car, and then I saw it. I'm like, okay. maybe this is the buildings where he lives or something like that. But it looked like a motel, right? But then I was like, oh, maybe
Wait,
this is the building.
what was the color of the car?
Was it
What was
black?
the color? Oh my God, you're so wow.
Yeah, it was a very quick one. It was very quick, and I was like, okay, let me ask Michael if we want to go live today, because I
Oh my
felt
God,
it.
that you're really good, to be honest.
Really? So
Uh,
what are you doing in the motel then? Is it white
Congratulations.
building or what? Hmm?
Me, I like to go into motels because like I don't want to pay. I'm traveling a lot, you know. I want to
Hmm.
travel a lot, and not only physically but astrally.
Hmm.
So my plan is to project
Hmm.
into multiple Earth locations in order to explore the etheric plane from that location.
Mm.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
So there's a reason, like that's the reason why I want to go to Brazil and also Egypt
Okay.
because I want to astral project out there in order to perceive and maybe serve clear energies
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
different locations.
Yeah, I was called to different locations too. It's so weird. That was so.
Mhm.
In my time, I promise you, I was called to these different places, but I was given symbols. Okay,
Mhm.
I was given the pyramid, so I knew I needed to go somewhere in Africa, and which was Africa and in the Egypt, right? And I
Mhm.
was like, okay, that's Africa. And then I was given a bird.
A bird.
Yeah, a bird. Like it was like an eagle, a bird.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what is this bird representing? You know? But it was a
Oh,
location.
wow. Hmm.
You know, it was a
That reminds
location.
me of a story. It
Hmm?
was a location. So the bird was uh, in that location.
Yes. So the bird represents the location, just like the pyramid represents, Egypt. This
Okay, okay,
bird
okay.
represents this
Yeah.
place. So he told me it was more
Was it
like
a
here,
big?
America, huh?
Was it a big
It
bird or
was a big bird. Big
a big bird?
bird. Yeah, big bird. And it was working together with whatever that's in the pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it was working with the pyramid. That big bird, and then
Interesting.
I had another, which was, it was kind of like a crown, you know, something
Mhm.
with a crown. But I was like, what is that? What is that? It's giving me like kind of a star, moon, and a crown kind of type of thing.
Okay.
Went to Europe. My locations when I
Mhm. Euro.
thought about it, it was Africa, Egypt, right? The bird was here in America, and then the crown was in Europe, and then I had the military, and it was the military with a mohawk, and that represented Asia, somewhere in
Angry.
China.
Angry?
Yeah. So
You
I've
sure
got Europe,
not England?
America. Yeah,
Okay, okay.
but it's taking me. It's not taking me to like England. It's taking me more like Scotland and Ireland. So
Mhm.
it's UK. So I thought it was very interesting. It was Africa. It was a location in Africa, which was the pyramids. It was location here in America, which was here in California, actually. Where not?
Mhm.
It showed me California in New York, and then there was the Europe. And Europe, I saw multiple locations, but it was more like Ireland, Scotland, and then it took me more into Turkey and stuff. Even though
Mhm.
it's more like a Middle East, yeah.
Mhm.
And yes, yes, and it took me to the Mecca.
Oh yeah, okay. Oh, I've went there. I went
You
there
have,
sometime. Yeah.
yeah,
Hmm.
astral project or like in this body.
Yeah, by astral projecting.
Yeah, I've been there for many times around that rock.
Yeah,
Inside
it
that
represents a
rock.
lot. You know, the Mecca, even inside like a yeah. I've went into places like physically. I've went into Egypt, like the pyramid, the Mecca also. Uh, Where else? I went into locations where you couldn't tell what country it was, but
Hmm.
you could tell that you're far from your house, your location, where you lay down into astral project.
Hmm. But it doesn't have a name or anything. Nope.
No, you could tell, you could sense if you use your intuition, that information can come up. But I wasn't really looking for the name because it's just a label, it's a place
Hmm.
at first. So
Hmm.
yeah.
Yeah, I went to Mecca many times, and it's so much around there. In Egypt and in Mecca, those two places, it was so much to take from. It's like it's showing me
Mhm.
so much, but it takes a lot of energy to keep the focus on everything when you are on the different realms.
Yeah, a lot of consciousness, you mean?
Yeah, it takes really, really, really focus. It takes really focus. So when it takes me to these different places, sometimes I haven't been focusing so much. But when I come back every time, I'm doubting myself, like, why? And then it takes me again. It takes me again. Each time I go back to it. And then eventually I learned how to go to these places. And then I see the
On
information
your
on the
own?
outside. And then I
Hmm.
see the information on the outside, like Mecca. It made me read about certain things that I would never read about. I read the whole Quran, just in my language. Everything was translated in Swedish.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, it had me read
Beautiful.
a lot of things, and then I saw everything in there. I'm like, oh my God! Like Saudi Arabia, where the Mecca is, it's not even their religion. You know, if you look at the book, in the Quran, it says you're not allowed to have a king or queen.
Hmm.
Only God is the ruler, so you can't be ruling a country. That's what it says. But in Saudi Arabia, they have a king, they have a prince, and everything.
Yeah.
They,
And me, I find it really, even me personally, I find like it's disrespecting the truth, which is that, like you said, God and his angels are the only s- kings,
hmm
well, they're princes, and stuff like that. But earthly, physically, there can't be no king. Like
that, yeah,
it's
because
a
of everybody is equal, in a sense.
yeah. And you know how people they call themselves kings and queens, but they're so possessive and less responsible onto the role of
Mm.
a king and a queen.
I wouldn't never want to be one. I really do not want to be no queen or king or rule any country or anything like that. I would never take on that kind of title on myself because it's a big responsibility, and I don't really think anybody can. Or it's not even responsibility. It's like you can't even be. It's impossible.
Yeah,
It's
I mean,
impossible.
mhm. Depending on how much you detach from these, like I've even met, they call Tutankhamun, I think it's called. Well, he's called the Egyptian pharaoh.
Oh, okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I've
What about?
met in the astrals when I traveled.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
wow, it reminds me of so many stories actually. I've met great beings. I've went into the past of Adolf Hitler.
Ooh, I met him too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I met him
Well,
too. When I came
his
back, I wasn't
past.
mad at him.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's very interesting about Hitler's story
Mhm.
because the way when I went to the astral and when I met him and the story that's portrayed here, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
Have you, I wonder, have you ever, well, do you know, you're from Ethiopia, so you know about Haile Selassie?
Yeah, I've heard of him, but I don't know much about him,
He's,
even if I'm from
he
Ethiopia.
he represents so much if you knew, he represents so much.
He represents a lot. No, I have
Yeah.
never met him. I never read about him, anything about him, but I know like all the
He's one of,
Rastafarian and all these people.
I can say many things, there's some things I just like prefer to keep, but like he's one of the greatest beings, uh,
What
not
did
only
he do?
physically, um, he's a true master, like a real one, like
Hmm.
mean, there's no, like, I mean, everybody's unique, but I mean, in terms of power, he's powerful, you
Hmm.
know? He's an
Yeah, I've
angel,
never
he's a
read about
servant,
him. I don't know with me. Okay.
he serves
Mention
the,
one thing that he's known for. What is he known for?
um, oh, okay, this one. Um, in the astrals, he's
Hmm.
called Sie, like S-I-E.
Okay,
Um,
sick.
well, no, S-I-E, and but the E is pronounced C-A.
Okay.
So it's called CA, and it's because, well, me when I encountered him in the actuals, I was serving a quest, and you can sense somebody's power, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Energetically, but also intellectually,
Hmm.
and yeah, uh, that's a long story, but he's called CA because he represents. He is so powerful. He is, about the archangel Metatron.
No.
So the archangel Metatron is a being
Hmm.
known to be the holder, the ruler, the 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 master of sacred geometry.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
And CA, which is Haile Selassie physically, and Tafari Makonnen, his real name,
Hmm.
represents in the actuals. He takes the form of a I don't know if that's going to be the right word, but a chained saw. You know,
Chainsaw.
yeah, that thing that
Yeah.
and that's because it represents how his intellectual sharpness
Hmm.
uh, depicts realities in order to shape a new. He is an alchemist,
Hmm.
so anything that's defining, like, when you look at your surroundings, that's a chair, and that's the definition of it, and that's the bed, and that. So he's the cutter. He's the one who cut angles in
Hmm.
order to create realities. So that's why we call him. Yeah. In CA, a chainsaw in French is
Hmm.
pronounced in C.
So his name is in your language.
Well, yeah, you can translate it like that. I just make connections like that, but he's also related. Like, I don't know if I can tell this.
Why not?
Well, about his about who he is, and that's incredible. Like, mhm.
Yeah. Who is he? Is he related to?
Well, he represents the archangel Metatron.
Hmm.
You know, and the archangel Metatron, his true name is not Metatron. His true name is Ahayaha.
Hmm.
Did you ever heard of that name, Ahayaha?
No.
So
But
Ahayaha is sorry.
yeah. No, I said it sounds like familiar.
Mhm.
But it could be because of the languages that I speak. But yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Tell me, what is
Ahayaha
it?
is an Hebrew pronunciation, meaning I am who I am.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Ahayaha. And Metatron also is known to be the first being ever created. It's only 20 seconds left.
Yeah, again.
Mhm. And Ahayaha, who represents the first being, I am who I am,
Mhm.
is also known to be the greatest archangels, one of the first beings ever created by God.
Wow. Now when you're dropping some
So,